Happy Thursday, everyone. 2 minutes in the box with Gordo. Today we got an interesting lineup of headline news, rumors, statistics, regrets, you name it. Okay, last night, let's get to it. All right, we got three games last night. Ottawa Senators and the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg Jets, 11 in a row. Unbelievable. This team is on fire. And the Ottawa Senators' wild card chances are slipping. They better pick up the slack because they might be sellers by the end of next Thursday or Friday at the latest. And yeah, we're going to see some very interesting statistics and keys right here. Yeah, Connor Hellebuyck does it again, and he's got more wins than 28 other teams in the NHL. It's insane. This man is the reason why the Winnipeg Jets are the number one team in the NHL. He is a diamond in the rough, and he is definitely, if he can get this team deep in the playoffs, if he can go deep in the playoffs, we might see the first goalie since Carey Price to win the Hart Trophy in 10 years. Yeah, and Connor Hellebuyck, a fifth round draft pick, insane. Ay, 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 unreal. This guy is a beauty, and Winnipeg Jets fans should be thankful that they have the number one goalie in the NHL. He is definitely, a Hart Trophy finalist. Get this team deep. Oh yeah, Winnipeg deep in the playoffs, Stanley Cup Finals, whatever. You know that Connor Hellebuyck will be your MVP. Going to the next game, New Jersey, Colorado Devils losing 5-1. Martin Necas, this man has been on a tear ever since he got traded to the Colorado Avalanche. 47 assists. He's basically tied with the man who was traded for him, Mikko Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen's only gotten 3 points since going to the Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, just insane. I mean, playing with a certain player can value your player, go up or down. I mean, let's look at this. If you play like with Mario Lemieux, play with Wayne Gretzky, Steve Yzerman, Joe Sakic, you're going to be a bona fide superstar. If you get traded and go to a different market and you don't have, your comfort, your production and your relevancy is going to go down the drain. And we've seen that happen all the time. We have seen this happen on and on and on. And sometimes, look at Jonathan Cheechoo, for example. Remember, he scored 56 goals in 05, 06 when Joe Thornton came on board in an early season trade with the Bruins and the Sharks. Oh yeah, Jonathan Cheechoo won Rocket Richard, and that is because he was on the line with Joe Thornton, and his production went down the drain like very fast after that. You know, Sometimes if you find the right chemistry and the right line, and you're going to be productive for a very long time, you're going to be remembered for generations. Now, since Rantanen, I got a feeling he's going to get traded again, but Carolina wants to keep him just for now, just because, they gave up certain assets, with Jack Drury and Martin Necas and two draft picks. And, if they can't come up with agreement with Rantanen, in Carolina, Taylor Hall is the plan B, which I mentioned yesterday. And I got another prediction right here with this. If Matthew Tkachuk is out, Carolina will be trading Rantanen to the Panthers as a rental. Could you imagine that happen? And that right there, I think Rantanen's production will definitely pick right back up where he left off in Colorado. I mean, Florida could be desperate. They are desperate right now for some reinforcements. They need someone on the back end, like an upgrade on the back end, and we'll have to see right there. But then we go to the last game of the night last night, Vancouver Canucks and the LA Kings, and this is standing watching, and this is a very important matchup in the Pacific Division with the Canucks and the Kings, and Vancouver winning this game in overtime. Quentin Hughes being back in the lineup, and he is definitely a Hart Trophy finalist, and his numbers are phenomenal. And Vancouver, though, the standings show if they are in the wild card, they are 65 points. They are holding on to dear life, and they have a slight lead over the Calgary Flames, who have 64. And Utah's creeping up, and they are playing very well as of late, and they are creeping up there. So are the St. Louis Blues. The Ducks are still hanging on by a thread. And right here, guys, this is going to make everyone's head spin because we're going to see a colossal headache, with this. And tonight, we're going to get to the tonight games right now. So you got the New York Islanders against the Boston Bruins. Both teams are trying to fight to survive to get into the playoffs and to get those 2 points that are crucial. I gotta say this will be a close matchup. Then you got San Jose and Montreal. San Jose is still being a young team in the building process, and Montreal, on the other hand, they have seen some flashes of brilliance and moments that are like this team has got some hope and opportunity. I gotta say, keep an eye on that game as well. Then you've got the unique game right here. It's a home and home. Columbus Blue Jackets, Detroit Red Wings. They're playing a game at the Horseshoe this Saturday in Columbus. And this matchup right here, it's an old school Central Division matchup and the Michigan Ohio rivalry. Yeah. And I got to say, this is going to be a close game. And this is going to be part one of this game. And I got to say, this is going to be anticipatingly exciting because, that's going to lead up to Saturday and see where this game and where the standings lead up to. And now you got Calgary Flames against the Tampa Bay Lightning. That matchup right there, going to be a good one. Excited about that one. And it'll be a close one. Let's just say it'll be a close game. And Calgary needs those 2 points to regain that second wild card spot in the Western Conference. And Tampa Bay needs to be creeping up in the Atlantic Division. And then you got the Stanley Cup Final rematch at home this time in South Florida. The Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. This matchup is going to be off the charts, off the wall, and it will be a close one. It'll be a nail biter, thriller type of game. And we are going to see a interesting matchup. And I gotta say, Florida, if they win tonight, if the Florida Panthers win tonight, they can get the momentum of getting back of the Atlantic Division lead. Yeah, that would be crucial. And same thing with the Oilers. If they win tonight against the Panthers and they can get their points on the Pacific Division. Then you've got the St. Louis Blues and the Washington Capitals. Keep an eye on Ovechkin because you've got a very close Ovechkin. He's got 883 and he's got 12 to go to break Gretzky's all-time record. The Blues can be sneaky, but they've got some assets they can definitely trade off, but we'll have to see right there. Then you got the Buffalo Sabres and the Carolina Hurricanes. Unique matchup. Hurricanes are trying to get ground. They're trying to get ground, so they want to get their second place lead in the Metropolitan Division. And then we go back to the Pennsylvania Keystone State battle between the Flyers and the Penguins. I gotta say, this matchup, I gotta believe Pittsburgh is definitely gonna get payback what Philadelphia did to them on Tuesday night. That right there is going to be a interesting matchup. And watch out, Sid is going to light up the lamp. I wouldn't be surprised. If it's a goal or an assist, I might be right. I might be right. And you've got Winnipeg Jets against the Nashville Predators. Best team in the West against the worst team in the West. And Winnipeg, oh yeah, wiping the hands, easy dub tonight. And, Nashville's got some interesting pieces to sell off to at the trade deadline. Let's just see what happens. Oh, yeah. And then you get the Minnesota Wild against Utah Hockey Club. Utah Hockey Club, they're sneaky. they could be creeping up in that final wild card spot in the Western Conference. This is exciting here. First year team, technically, the Arizona Coyote roster. And look what has happened. Changing scenery and changing the address and zip code and going to a different state north, about 6 hour drive, 9 hour drive, is it? What a change. And I believe this matchup will determine how everything goes in the wild card spot in the Western Conference. Then you've got the Chicago Blackhawks against the Vegas Golden Knights. It's a snooze fest. I mean, the Blackhawks, they are a dumpster fire right now. As for the last 5 6 years, then you've got Vegas. They are trying to maintain that lead in the Pacific Division, and those 2 points are crucial. And curiosity is, how is Vegas going to get back in deep in the playoff run, and can they get that Stanley Cup that Florida's got right now? And then finally, you've got the Vancouver Canucks and the Anaheim Ducks. This is going to be a close one. You know, Vancouver, they got to get this because those 2 points are very crucial in the standings in the wild card spot. Yeah, we're going to see some very unique games right here. Oh, yeah. According to the collective bargaining agreement in this new agreement, there's been reports that besides expansion, there could be a changing of the jersey guard. All right, we're going to be seeing NHL jerseys reverting back to home is white, dark on the road. And, obviously, we're going to see the third jersey in a different tone. From 1970 to 2003, the home were white, the darks were the road. And then after that, from 2003, 4, and currently, the darks are at home, the lights on the road. So we're going to see a changing of the guard, going back to the retrospective whites home, darks road. And I'm in favor. I don't care at this point. I don't care. You know, it's basically part of the Uniform Collective Bargaining Agreement in the NHL CBA. I mean, it's just, but all right. Remember that Sports Illustrated cover back in 1994 where you had Pavel Bure and Mike Richter on top, and then you got Patrick Ewing and Keem Olajuwon on the bottom, and it said on Sports Illustrated, "Why is the NHL hot and the NBA not?" We're seeing a sequel or a remake, kind of a sequel type. This is showing that the NHL is back better than ever. I mean, 20 years ago, there was a lockout, but now the NHL has the momentum since the NBA is in economically no trouble of finding a superstar, but they are in trouble. They are in trouble finding the new face of the league. The NBA, with their laziness, the gambling, and the shooting the threes all the time, there's no imagination anymore. There's no imagination. The NBA is straight up dying here. It's not pretty. Basketball can be fun and all, but if you want to talk about propaganda and your political beliefs and all that crap, I got earplugs. I don't care. And we told you to shut the hell up and dribble, but you didn't listen, and you just cost yourselves a lot of money right here. Yeah, and the WNBA is no one gives a crap about that, and saying I don't want to say it out loud, but people are stupid if they found out the truth, and they would be, oh my god. All right, one of my favorite takes. Dynasties have consequences. Yes, this is a true statement. And looking back on modern hockey history, Montreal Canadiens, they had like consecutive Stanley Cup wins in the 50s, and the Leafs, same thing in the 60s. But the New York Islanders, 4 straight Stanley Cup victories and 5 straight finals appearances. And then after 84, the wheels came off. They tried their best to duplicate the dynasty to get their 5th Stanley Cup to drive for 5, but it didn't arrive yet and still hasn't been arriving because the New York Islanders have struggled since then because it's not easy to maintain a dynasty in hockey. It's not easy. Just look at the New England Patriots. Their dynasty died. The Golden State Warriors, the Chicago Bulls, and the Lakers, their dynasties are gone. It doesn't last forever. And then you had the Pittsburgh Penguins dynasty, from the early 90s. That didn't work out. The Detroit Red Wings, they've had 30 plus years of success from, when Mike Ilitch bought that team in 1982, winning the cup in 97, and they were a stronghold of a dynasty, and they're still looking for that relevancy and nostalgic feel to be a dynasty again. Chicago Blackhawks, they had a dynasty. They are in the basement right now. Look at the LA Kings. They had three consecutive deep playoff runs, two Stanley Cups out of it, and they are still trying to be relevantly good and great again. Am I missing anybody? I mean, Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, the Tampa Bay Lightning is a squad that has done so well. The Tampa Bay Lightning have done so well maintaining and building a proper structural franchise. And no wonder they are number one in that category, and they reloaded and restocked. And, that's right there shows how good the Tampa Bay Lightning are. And all in all, dynasties have those consequences. You trade your top prospects, trade your draft picks, trade anyone, and then you're going to have breadcrumbs left, and it's not a good sign. And you got to build through the draft, and you got to build through free agency, and you've got to have a strong, competent front office to have a good NHL franchise. Even in all sports, you got to have a strong footprint and a blueprint plan to show that how are you going to be maintaining success. And if you're going to hire someone who's got credentials of dumpster fire, run away. I'm looking at this. I am looking at this overall. And those dynasties have those consequences. Do your research, do your homework. And it's a true statement. Kings and queens in the old times, their monarchs have fallen. Everyone sees the pattern, and it's historic. Every day creates your history. Every soldier dies for his glory and the conquest and liberty. The NHL, every team has that ability to build something special. You know, it's a small minority of players who can make it to the NHL, and it's a small minority also to have a diamond in the rough superstar generational talent. It's hard to find those guys. It's every 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It's not like every year. I mean, if you can find a player in the sixth, seventh, eighth, or ninth round, fifth, fourth, or third round, you're going to be like, what a great signing and a great pickup. Wow. Now, that right there is someone thinking. Human inability have limitations in life. I mean, sometimes any player can adapt and be successful, and sometimes they don't know how to adapt into the professional world of sports. It happens every day. It happens all the time. Sometimes the player can succeed. They can climb up the mountain because some people can handle the altitude and handle the workload and the responsibility. Some people like, I don't like the view, and I'm going to be walking back down. Yeah, that's how I see professional sports these days, guys. That's how I see professional sports. This has been 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo. We'll be back here tomorrow recapping last night's games and talking about the games and the weekend news, rumors, trades upcoming. Have a great day, everybody.